Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly with you on your Wednesday morning. We are broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Cory, what's going on? Glad to have you in as always.
You got me for 3 hours, and it's going to be a struggle. I'm just going to let you know.
Hey, some days are like that.
Yep.
We will get through, but we got lots to get to today. And
real.
we will start with the Predators.
All right, let's do it.
How about the Nashville Predators? Winners of 5 straight for the first time this season. And last night was shocking.
Yeah.
How about, the slow starts have been an issue all season long for the Preds, and it feels like they've left that in the dust, scoring 5 goals in the first period last night. Never looked back after that. Preds have moved into the second wild card spot and now just 3 points back of Utah for the top wild card spot with 11 games to go. Nashville's buzzing right now.
Maybe shouldn't be shocking, though. 14 wins in a row over the San Jose Sharks.
That is true. Got their number.
So they're the new Columbus Blue Jackets. All right. Back in the day, the Preds used to just pound on those guys. But yeah, so they've owned this team, and now's the time to own them because in a couple years they're going to be a huge problem.
Yep.
But I think they are the worst first period team in hockey, the Preds, and so to see them come out and hang 5 in the first period was pretty amazing. And so that was good to see. Also to see them do it in what was such a huge game,
right?
Such a huge game, and come out and finish. And Forsberg continues to play at an elite level. We were just talking to Robbie on his way out the door. Jonathan Marchessault has not played this well as a National Predator.
No,
and if he can finish the season playing this well, I feel very good about their chances. And Phil just looks like he's just put the team on his back and said, let's go.
You've gotten your stars to start playing their best hockey down the stretch here, and the young guys who have had to step in after the trade deadline have played well. Matthew Wood scored again last night.
Another pretty one, too.
Ufko's been great, and you've gotten contributions from Svechkov and Schaefer.
Scored last night.
Yeah, Luke Evangelista scored, and I mean, he has taken a big step forward this year after kind of a disappointing season a year ago.
He hasn't scored a ton of goals, but his point total,
right?
He's been very creative in getting other people involved and getting them the puck in good spots.
And the Predators, they are peaking towards the right time of the season.
You think?
For months, it's been, they got off to the slow start. They were towards the bottom of the Western Conference.
Well, they were the worst team in hockey December 6th.
Right. And then they made a little bit of a run there, and they got back into the mix. But the last 2 months, it's just been, all right, you win a couple, and you lose a couple, and you're 4 points back, you're 1 point back. They finally made the run.
You really felt like it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I got to that point where I'm like, they're just not going to get there. One thing is the schedule has eased up. You don't have Dallas,
Colorado, Minnesota.
Yeah. You don't have that gauntlet night in and night out, where it seemed like they were playing teams of that caliber just constantly.
Yep.
And so they're playing teams that are on the cusp of the playoffs right now, and they're kind of having their way with them, which is what you need to do to be a playoff team. And so they're piling up points. I think they have 15 points in their last 10 games.
Yep.
That gets you there without question. Who do they have? New Jersey.
They got New Jersey tomorrow.
And New Jersey just won a big one last night. They beat somebody good. So that one won't be easy. But if you get a point, you're home, right? So you got to get a point.
Home the next 2 against New Jersey and Montreal.
Okay, that's got to be a point and 2 points.
And then you head on the road for 6 straight. And it's a lot of the teams that you're fighting with directly. Yeah. You start with Tampa, then you get a couple days off. But at the Kings, at the Sharks, at the Kings again, at the Ducks, at the Mammoth.
Is 6 points in 6 games enough to keep you rolling through there?
With the way things look right now, maybe.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say that considering where the Preds were 10 days ago. But you look at the cushion that they've built up for themselves. The Kings games are going to be massive. You play the Kings twice in 4 days, and they're the closest team to you. They're 3 points back.
So you've got 6 games. If you win 2, that's 6 points. And then if you can get 2 to overtime, that's 8 points. And I think that would be that would be a good place to start. If you could get 8 points
in 6 games.
yeah, you'd feel on the road.
So 3 wins, 2 overtime losses.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was giving 3 points for wins. Yeah. So you'd have to win half. Oh, gosh, that's a lot.
It is a lot. And again, it's all of the teams that you're directly competing with.
So 6 points, you could win 2, take 2 to overtime.
Yeah, that gets you 6.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's getting down to that time of the season where you can kind of look and project how many points it's going to take to get you in. I actually saw somebody put out the projected point totals for the final playoff team in both conferences. The projected point total in the East is 99 points. Preds aren't getting there.
No.
But the good news is they play in the West, where 87 is projected to be the number that's going to get it done. Right now, you're at 77.
Yeah, and Utah's only 3 points ahead. And Utah lost last night in regulation.
And you also have a game in hand against Utah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you really have to start looking at that. I mean, because it is so important, because you could play the Pacific instead of the Central. That would be huge. And so they've got a game with the Mammoth coming up. And that could be it. That could be the deciding factor. And, my goal for this team and for these youngsters was to play meaningful games down the stretch.
Yep.
They're doing that, and they're playing well. So we're getting a good idea of who's part of the solution and who's not. And, right now you can say Ufko, Wood, Evangelista, they're all part of the solution. I know Svechkov and LaRue just got new contracts. Yep. I think Svechkov might have had an assist last night. I want to fill on the first goal to Phil. I think
feels like everybody had an assist last night.
But so you're starting to see some young guys who are like, okay, those guys are they're really it for next year. I want to see more from LaRue does LaRue stuff. He's different. Svechkov, you continue to just want to see more from. But they feel like they've seen enough to continue looking. But they're winning games. I think that's the big thing. And I think their goalies, and I haven't been necessarily overwhelmed with the goaltending this year, but I feel like in this stretch when they've had to come up big, that they have. I thought Little Juice was good at the end of Chicago. And I felt like there were times last night where San Jose was applying the pressure and he shut some things down.
Yep.
I think Will Smith could have had a hat trick. He slid over there and made a nice save. So I think, those guys have stepped up their game some, and they needed them to get it done down the stretch here.
Well, yeah. And UC Saros coming up a little lame in morning skate last Thursday against Seattle, and Big Juice stepped up, gave up just 1 goal against Seattle, 1 goal against Vegas before Saros was able to come back on Sunday. So it's been an all-around team effort, and you're starting to see the players that you need to be great to get into the playoffs are doing it. Forsberg has been on another level right now. And you mentioned Marchessault. I think that's really important that Marchessault is stepping up, because he's been out of the 3 big signings that you made last offseason, he's been the most disappointing. Shea scored last night as well. And obviously he's more known for what he's doing on the defensive
that's his
side.
Second. But Yossi scored last night.
Yes. I mean, you scored 5 in the first period. That it was fun to watch last night. And the Predators have put themselves in a good spot for the postseason with 11 games to go. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. You can text or call. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll talk a lot of Preds here in this first hour as they gear up for 2 more home games before a 6-game road trip. And a couple more points here before you head on the road would be crucial. Right now, 3 points up on the Kings, 5 on the Kraken and the Jets, and 7 on the Sharks after the win over San Jose last night. Could they get up to wild card 1 against Utah? And how much easier does that make the path for the Predators in the postseason? We will talk about that coming up next. Jake Lyman, joined by Cory Curtis from News 2 on this Wednesday. Parker Kelly at the controls here on Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Preds fans, Smashville Live, presented by Gary Force Acura, returns tonight at 6 p.m. on 102.5. The game live from Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue. Meet your Predators players up close and personal, and also get autographs and pictures. The Preds player guests will be Ryan Ufko and Zachary LaRue. That's tonight at Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue, and only on 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Preds back in action tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena to take on the Devils. We will give away a couple of tickets to that game coming up later in the show. And Preds tickets, tough to get right now with how good they've been playing. 5 in a row for the Preds. And again, they are currently in the second wild card spot, 3 points up on the Kings. And we were having the conversation before we went on air, Cory, about how dangerous can this team be in the playoffs if they get there.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks a whole lot simpler if you're on the Pacific side of the bracket. You'd likely play Anaheim. There's a chance it could be Edmonton or Vegas, but likely Anaheim in the opening round if you're wild card 1. Then you'd get either the Oilers or Golden Knights in the second round. That's a much easier path if you're going to make a run to the Western Conference Finals than facing Colorado and Dallas in back-to-back series.
Yeah. I mean, look, you get Colorado or Dallas, you're probably done in 6.
Right. I would struggle to see the Preds winning more than 2 games.
Yes, as I say, if it went well, you're probably done in 6. And with the other ones, you got a chance.
Yep.
I'm not saying, they'll beat those teams, but they got a chance to. I wouldn't be surprised to see those series go 7. So, I think that's certainly, if I'm Andrew Burnett, I'm like, guys, let's go.
Right.
Let's get there, because you're talking about the difference between winning a playoff series or 2 and going home in 6, and they could still go home in 6. So don't get me wrong.
Right.
But look at the New England Patriots. It's all about the matchups and how things play out for you. And this is a much better path to a run. And, you get to the Western Conference Finals, and then, you see what happens. You're clearly hot at that point, if that's what's happening. And so, you're still an underdog, but we've seen weird stuff, And so, yeah, I usually don't get too caught up in matchups. You play who you play.
Yeah.
But for this team, and if they could get through a round or 2 in the playoffs, it would be just a huge success. A huge success.
Yeah.
And their path to get there is obvious. And so, push pedal to the metal. Go.
Right. I agree with you that matchup you're going to play who you play. You have to win 3 series to get to the Stanley Cup final, no matter what. So, right, usually you would say it doesn't matter. You're playing a good team either way, but it is by far the best division in hockey, the Central, and pretty clearly the worst division in hockey in the Pacific, especially the way they've been playing lately. So I do agree that getting to wild card 1 should be a priority for the Predators.
Yep. Andrew talked about it last night. How they're looking forward. They're not looking behind them.
Right. The Predators, as of right now, according to moneypuck.com, 60% chance to make the playoffs, which, again,
amazing,
astronomical. Even a week ago,
yeah.
I think heading into the Seattle game at home, it was about 20 to 25%.
When they gave up that point in Vancouver, I was just like, oh,
yeah.
And like that, and it could still be the point that costs them. But, you're just like, man, but I don't think they've lost since then.
They lost to Edmonton.
Okay.
But outside of that, yes, they have not lost since. They've won 5 in a row. Right now it has moneypuck.com has them at 41.5% chance to be wild card 2, 18% chance to be wild card 1. So still more likely that you're in wild card 2, but the path is there. You have a game in hand against Utah and you still play them, only 3 points back right now. So there is a path to get there. And it's fun to look at they do the playoff odds and also each round. If somebody would have told you on December 6th, which I know was a while ago, almost 4 months ago, that the Predators would have a 2.3% chance to make the Stanley Cup final, I think you would have taken it, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
2.3, it's not a lot, but that's way more than I would have expected the Preds to have on March 25th.
Yeah, shoot, I wasn't expecting like a lot of the guys to be on the team at this point. back on December 6th. You thought they were just going to be
Right.
fire sailing the whole thing because it was a disaster. I mean, it was tough. It was tough. And so, yeah, I mean, credit, Andrew talks about it all the time that, their mindset has not changed. Their belief in themselves has not changed. Their expectations have not changed. They're just finally getting the results.
Right.
To which I am like, well, what in the world took so long to get the results? But they're getting the results. I don't know if it's just finding the right chemistry with guys. Obviously Stamkos took off first, and that helped a lot. That helped a lot. And now Phil's on fire. So you've got that. But, again, you make those trades and everybody's hemming and hawing about trading a bunch of fourth liners, and you bring up some kids and, they can play.
And I think a lot of the complaints about the trade deadline strategy was who they didn't trade. And I still understand the people out there who say, tear it down. And I think there is what they're doing right now shouldn't change too much of the long-term outlook of this team. I still think that they need to embrace the young wave coming up of Molendyke and Gibson and Martin and Surin eventually when he comes over from the KHL. But you also have to look and say everybody was, oh, you should have traded Haula, you should have traded O'Reilly, and now they've won 5 straight games. It's like I do wonder if maybe Barry Trotz did kind of thread the needle, as he likes to say, of making enough moves to add some future assets, but not take away the opportunity for this team to go compete.
Well, the thing I always say is this as well, and I think I said this when we were talking about it. So you trade O'Reilly and you trade 2 1s for him, and look, that's a lot. I grant you that's a lot. There are no guarantees that you get anywhere near that good with either of those players.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, we drafted plenty of guys in the first round who didn't do a whole heck of a lot. And that's why I'm like, everybody wants to trade away good players. And I know you have to give something to get something, but when you trade those guys away, you're generally not picking 5th. Okay.
Yeah. The teams that are trading for them are trying to go win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. You're getting the 21st pick or the 25th pick, and it's just like, okay, well, maybe they'll get lucky. And one of those guys will hit.
Yeah.
Or we could just have Ryan O'Reilly.
Well, with O'Reilly, I think the big question was you wanted O'Reilly to bring back a prospect who was like NHL ready. Somebody that could come in and you felt could step in and be an immediate young piece. A pick and a prospect was what I think they were asking for O'Reilly.
Okay.
And I do think that you look and you say, what could you have gotten back for O'Reilly? We'll never know the offers, but the way the team is playing right now, I think Barry Trotz has to feel pretty smart about the way he handled it.
I watched O'Reilly last night, and I'm like, gosh, this guy's good. I mean, he is ageless. He's just, he skates so well, and he's creative with the puck, and he's strong with the puck. I mean, he does everything well. I mean, that's what Barry talked about when they got him.
Yeah.
He does everything well. And I'm like, why wouldn't you want this guy on your team? And I know there are a segment of fans, and I understand it. Want to tear it all down and start over, but you've still got to get good players.
Yeah,
and you've got a good player. so why get rid of a good player to try to replace him with a good player? You've got a good player.
That's the old. It's the Family Guy. Would you like a boat or the mystery box? Well, the boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything, even a boat. It's like you do like knowing or the idea of a mystery. It's like, oh, we got another first round pick. Great.
So if I say, hey, Jake, we're going to give you an extra first round pick. You're going to pick 18th this year.
Yeah.
And you go, and I'm like, hey, he's going to be as good as Ryan O'Reilly. What would you say?
Great.
Awesome.
We hit on that pick.
And well, you gave me Ryan O'Reilly to get that pick.
I would say I'd prefer a younger version of Ryan O'Reilly, but yes, I understand
your chances of getting them are less than 50-50.
Right.
But you got him. He's here. He's now. He's already won trophies.
And I do think with Barry Trotz, we'll see what the long-term outlook is, especially when the new GM comes in.
Yeah.
But I do think that he may have done a nice job of getting some assets for your expiring contracts. But and that honestly may have fired the team up a little bit of like, let's go prove him wrong. You sold off some of our guys at the deadline. Let's go make the playoffs. That's what Barry wants in the end.
And maybe some of these younger guys are also just better.
Yeah, more talented for sure.
Let's say it. I keep saying it. All 4 of those guys are going to be available in free agency if you want them back. All right.
Yeah.
None of them have been signed to extensions by the teams that they're with. Okay.
Yeah.
They're all rentals. And Barry has always said, I can find third and fourth liners anytime.
Right.
And that's pretty much, I know Bunting was having a decent year.
Yeah.
You can find that. You can find Michael Bunting.
Right.
You can. And so yeah, maybe it fired the team up. Maybe, again, they've mixed some chemistry up, and they've got, Marshy playing with, Phil and stuff. Who's on the top line right now?
It's Phil.
Is Phil with Wood?
I think so. Is it Phil Wood Evangelista?
I don't know. They mix it up so much. I can't keep up.
I know he doesn't keep it very constant.
But yeah, they've got guys who are playing. That play that Phil and Marshy had the other night was beautiful.
I'm trying to see. Usually Max tweets this out.
Yeah, they had the opening lines last night. They emailed them out last night. I probably deleted that one, but it was in there.
I'll find it.
But regardless, they've found some combinations that are working. Their power play's been better lately. They had a big penalty kill last night. So it's just for whatever reason, like we talked about, the vets coming together at the right time. But I continue to say, Andrew's best year was when they ran a bunch of kids out there.
Yeah.
And the team gets younger and they're playing better. I don't think it's a mystery.
No, it is true. Pretty much since the trade deadline, when you got rid of 4 veterans and you brought up 4 young guys, prospects to take their places, the team has taken off. It's the Stamkos, O'Reilly, Evangelista line is the top line right now. Forsberg, Wood, Marchessault.
Yes. Okay. So I was right. Yeah. And that line, that second line, has caught fire. And Forsberg's a big part of that, but Marchessault's a big part of it too. He probably has more assists in the last week than he had all season.
Did he have 3 last night?
He had 3 last night, and he had another one the other. Like I said, he had a beautiful one the other night. And so that for whatever reason, that line has come together. And maybe it's Phil leading the way, but maybe it's Marshy leading the way. Maybe it's the fact that Wood gives them a legitimate new scorer.
Yeah,
he's got 16 now.
Yeah, I think so.
He's
been ridiculous
since the Olympic break. He's been a different player, and that's why I say he looks like part of the solution. He's still only 21 years old, and he's a big kid. And I think the great thing that we've seen from him since the break is we've seen his shot.
Yeah,
we've seen how good his shot can be. He just seems so much more confident with it, so much more confident to use it. And like last night, he's coming in on the right wing, and he's going to shoot the puck, and he knows it, and he just went right at the goalkeeper and just whipped it by him.
And even more important maybe is seems to be a legitimate chance he sticks at center long term, which that does change the outlook of your franchise. If Matthew Wood is not only just a good player for you, but a good centerman for you, which they've been looking for a while, a young, talented centerman.
Probably about 27 years.
Long time. Again, I always mention like Tommy Novak and Fedor Svechkov the last couple of years. You thought those guys would take the jump and end up being like your second line center, and neither of them could do it. Matthew Wood seems to have been the guy who's actually done it.
Yeah, I always thought Tommy Novak was too small and not physical enough.
Yeah.
And
no issues with that with Wood.
Yes. And, Svechkov is, he's been disappointing, and because they clearly still have a lot of belief in his ability.
Yeah.
And you see this all the time. Guys are really good in Milwaukee, and then they get here and there's something that gets in the way.
Yeah.
And I think for all of them, it's something different. And, eventually some of them get over the hump, but some of them just never do. And you've seen Barry be more willing to just give up and move on from those guys. Parsonen.
Juuso Parsonen.
When I saw him at first, I'm like, I like him.
Yeah.
But
it never clicked.
No. Who's the big Russian? I forget his name now. I think he's in Minnesota now. Yakov Trenin.
Yeah, Trenin.
I liked Trenin. I did. He wasn't the fastest skater, but I liked him. Big and show up in critical times, I thought, but I don't know what his numbers are.
Well,
now.
right. There are exceptions, but for the most part, the guys that Barry has moved on from haven't gone and lit the world on fire.
The Finnish
everywhere
kid
else.
who's with Seattle now, first rounder.
Yeah. Why am I blanking? We had this exact same conversation
my brain
a few weeks
doesn't work
ago,
now.
and
I told you you're not going to get much from me today.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. You can text or call. We'll get to some of your texts coming up next and keep talking Preds. Preds winners of 5 straight, currently holding wild card number 2 and 3 points back of Utah for the top wild card spot. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Talking Preds to start off the show today after a blowout win of the Sharks. Score ended up being 6-3, but it was 5-1 at the end of the first period. Preds have won 5 in a row, and they now have, according to MoneyPuck.com, a 60% chance to make the playoffs.
14 in a row
against the Sharks. Yeah.
And not only that, but their goals per game in that stretch is 4.69 before last night. So that number went up.
Yeah, no, I mean, they are figuring things out at the right time. And you're right. You're 14 row against the Sharks. You play them 2 more times.
That's my point.
You play them in San Jose coming up next week. And then you'll play them back here at home in the second to last game of the season back in mid-April. Yeah.
If you 3 points, you're in good shape.
Sharks are now 7 points back. They do have a game in hand. Actually, they might even have 2 games in hand against the Preds, but you're in a really good spot with the Sharks.
I think they've lost 4 or 5 in a row.
They have lost 5 in a row.
Yeah.
So Preds have won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Sharks have lost 5 in a row.
They're kind of cratering right now.
Kings and Kraken have both lost 4 in a row too.
Yeah.
So
they're skilled offensively, but defensively,
not so
they got
much.
some work to do.
We've got a couple of texts here that I wanted to get into. We were talking about the players who got traded, and Craig says, big sexy Michael McCarron is the only player we traded I would be interested in bringing back. And he brings something up that 2503 also says about no one stepped in when Orlov crushed Yossi last night.
Well, LaRue got a penalty later. Was that retaliation? Or no?
It's possible that it was, but I would have liked to see somebody drop the gloves there when someone hits the captain like that.
Yes, you need to win the game. But yes. I mean, and it will take some time to find someone to fill that role.
Right.
But it was a clean hit.
Yeah.
He just dropped his head.
Right.
And so some of it's on Roman. I watched the broadcast and when Chris Mason is not upset about the hit, that tells me all I need to know.
Well, you could also blame Evangelista a little bit. Luke kind of whatever the example of a hospital ball is, that was kind of what Vange threw to Yossi there.
Yeah, and so there's a time and a place, and you're right, they don't really have that guy right now,
right?
And you know what? I'd rather have a 30-goal guy than that guy, but that needs to work itself out.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it naturally kind of somebody finds that role.
Well, somebody's
among their team.
Like Nick Hague's a big dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if, I don't know how good he is at it. He's a big dude, but I mean, LaRue is the guy that you think fits the mentality of that enforcer.
The issue is it's got to be somebody you're okay with sitting in the box for 5 minutes.
And LaRue's
right?
one of your better penalty killers.
Right.
And that's the problem with it.
McCarron was a good PK guy too, but it's like McCarron, I think, was one of those guys, like, if he had to go to the box for 5 minutes, you could deal with it.
Yeah.
Like you got to find somebody who kind of fits that mold. So it's good questions on the text line.
2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Wait, was LaRue for end of first or early second?
That's a good question.
But
I think he was a first-round pick.
Yeah, I say 2 first-round picks who guys are just fourth-line fighters.
LaRue was the 27th overall pick.
Well,
so
it's
borderline first round.
One of the most famous fighters. Gosh, my brain is Stu Grimson.
Yeah,
and he was a first round pick.
Yeah,
and that became his role.
You got to find a role somewhere, and if you're not going to end up being, like you said, I'd prefer a 30 goal scorer, but that player is important for your team as well. The Predators have made a great run here, won 5 in a row. Nothing is locked up yet, still 11 games to go, but feeling good about their playoff chances. And we were talking about Bruno a little bit earlier, and Andrew Brunette definitely not absolved from blame for all of last year and the way this season started, but I do think you have to give him credit. People wanted him fired coming back from Sweden. Like that was when everybody was saying, yeah, he's gone. He's got to be gone. Barry Trotz stuck with him, and he's done a really nice job of getting this thing turned around.
Well, we've talked about it, and I have always said I don't think Andrew Brunette forgot how to coach. I just thought for whatever reason with this mix of players, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
It wasn't working. And so you can get rid of the players or you can get rid of the coach. It's easier to get rid of one coach than it is half a squad of players. And so that's usually what the result is.
Right.
And again, I don't know where the disconnect has been between him and the squad, because like I said, he's won a lot of games as a coach a couple times. He didn't forget what he was doing. And now you see, in year 2, Stamkos catches fire, and now you see down the stretch here, it's taken a season and a half, but Marchessault looks like the guy you signed.
Yep.
And you're winning games, and suddenly, hey, Andrew, great job. And he would tell you, I'm doing the same job I did 3 months ago. The players are just executing it. Now, what makes those players execute it now? If you could put that in a bottle, you'd be a gabillionaire.
Yeah.
But it's coming together.
And it's going to be up to the next GM, I'm sure, whether they retain Andrew Brunette, but he is definitely making a case for himself down the stretch here. So going to be a very interesting couple of weeks leading up to the end of the regular season. But
win
the
a
Preds,
playoff series, and it's not even a choice.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen teams around here fire playoff winning head coaches before.
Well, I guess they could hire John Robinson as their GM, and then they might do it.
615-737-1025. Preds back in action tomorrow night against the New Jersey Devils. Let's give away a pair of tickets. Be caller number 5. Again, we did it yesterday. They were
How about number 9 for Philip Forsberg?
Well, no, so they were on a 4-game winning streak.
5-game winning streak. Okay,
so they were a 4-game winning streak. 5. We're going to say caller number 5 today.
What about 6? It could be for the 6th game of the 6-game win streak.
5-game winning streak, and they scored 5 goals in the first period last night.
Five
Caller number 5, 615-737-1025. You'll win a pair of tickets to see the Preds take on the Devils at Bridgestone Arena tomorrow night at 7
available
p.m.
if somebody needs a partner.
Caller number 5, 615-737-1025.
If you've got no friends like me,
1025.
Call me.
Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Lots of Preds talk here in the first hour. Predators with another big win last night. We got a winner for those tickets. So Preds, Devils tomorrow night.
Congratulations, Todd Keck.
There you go, Todd.
Did he invite me to the game?
He did not.
Oh,
because you didn't bring Hulk.
Oh, yeah, but Hulk, you would have had to buy a seat for Hulk too. So
Hulk's small enough he can sit on my lap. I need to get him a little Preds jersey though.
That'd be cool. Maybe for the playoffs.
Sure.
Yeah. Big one for the Preds last night, winning 6-3 over the Sharks. They've won 5 straight. Before we wrap up hour number 1,
sure.
I do want to get to the maybe even a hotter team around the Nashville area, Nashville SC.
Yeah.
Moving on. We talked about that game against Miami last Wednesday. They get the goal late to tie it. And again, a 1-1 draw.
They were the better team.
That was all you needed, was a 1-1 draw. They move on. They'll face Club America in early April.
Were you here the last time
matchup.
they played Club America?
I was talking with Nick Frazier about this. That was Sam Surridge's first goal with Nashville SC, 98th minute or something.
Well, all I remember is when the Club America had the game won, and they stormed the field and they went to the locker room, and then they went back and looked at the replay and ruled that the goalie had come off the line, and they brought everybody back out. And oh my gosh, I thought people were going to get killed. It was crazy. Club America coming back here, they either really don't want to or they really want to.
Yeah, no, that is true. So it's going to be fun. April 7th is the first leg, and that is here, I believe, right?
Yeah.
That is here at Geodis Park. And then April 14th, a week later, would be.
And look, they can win this thing. And I'm not talking about Club America. I'm talking about
the whole
Champions Cup, because Inter Miami was the favorite to win it. Right. And so you just took them out. And again, this isn't saying they're going to. I'm saying they can do it. And if they win the Champions Cup, they are in the next World Club Cup, which would be awesome.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. And you look at what's facing them on the other side of the bracket. If you beat Club America, is Tigres, and Seattle is in the other quarterfinal.
The Sounders were in the last World Club Cup.
Yes. And then you've got the 2 LA teams on the other side of the bracket too. Yep. That could end up being a matchup in the final.
They're very good.
So not going to be easy, but you're right. You beat the most formidable team in the tournament.
They were devastated.
Yeah.
You could see they were devastated.
Yeah.
Devastated. And then the trolling afterwards, just rubbing salt in the wounds.
Yeah.
It was spectacular.
Well, and then to follow that up, I was thinking, Saturday, Orlando coming in, maybe there's a little bit of a letdown. I don't know if you saw the tweet from Orlando taking a picture of Broadway, and they said lots of fake cowboy hats around here, or brand new cowboy hats or whatever it is. And Nashville SC fans were all saying, man, talking about our tourists from Orlando.
Yeah.
But anyway, Nashville SC came out and won 5-0.
Housed them. Now, they were shorthanded. They were down a few starters. But what was so impressive about that performance from Nashville is it came on the heels of knocking out Miami.
Right.
You could have come out hungover from that game. Yes. And instead, you're up 2-0. You're up 2-0. Look, we talked about it before the season. Their talent is so much better.
Yeah.
I legitimately say this. They could be and probably are the best team in the MLS.
Yeah.
Christian Espinoza, they told me how good he was. They told me how great he was going to be. He has surpassed every expectation that I have. Every expectation. And his chemistry, the things you see him and Mukhtar and Nahar and Yazbek all doing together, I never dreamed I'd see plays that looked like that from Nashville SC. It's beautiful. It's like watching a breakout segment from Ted Lasso. It's just like, whoa. I watch a lot of youth soccer, and because my daughter plays, and one of the things you always see is you see talented kids with other kids who are behind, because that's just the way it is, because they're kids, and you're limited in what you can do by the I don't want to say weakest link. That's not nice to say, but by the furthest down in the chain. And so the elevation has elevated everybody.
Yeah.
And said, okay, we can do this now. I see the game the way you see the game. I can pass the game the way you pass the game. And so, to watch him and Mukhtar, and it's beautiful. And Patrick Yazbek has completely found a new gear at another level. He has been sensational. He's playing for Team Australia this year. And he's been fun to watch. And they are, they are really good. Julian, who works with me, always calls them a wagon, and he's right. They are a wagon right now.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Of the elevation of the roster, they relied a ton on Surridge and Mukhtar the last couple of years.
If they didn't score, they didn't score.
Right, and with Surridge, it's like you may see his goals drop this year, but it's because you have so many other options
the team will
around
be way
him.
better. So Surridge had a hat trick Saturday night. He's played 75 matches. He has 4 hat tricks.
Wow.
That's
a high percentage.
That's a really good ratio. That's a really good ratio. But no, you're absolutely right. There, you see more guys involved with the offense. Warren Madrigal scored the other night.
Yep.
Patrick Yazbek, is around the net a lot more. The other night, Surridge scored, but it was on a deflection off of an Alex Muil shot. And so you're seeing more of those guys, and just you had to get the goals from those two, and now you've seen at Inter Miami, it's Christian Espinoza with a huge goal. You've seen against Orlando City, when you're wondering how they're going to come out 4 minutes in, Christian Espinoza unleashes just an ungodly shot that threads.
I think it was number 4 on SportsCenter on Sunday.
It's Taylor Washington, former Nashville SC player, told me it might be the goal of the year.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
Trevor on the text line, and we were just talking about this. Somebody should send the guy with the earthquakes who forgot to trigger Espinoza's option a fruit basket.
Man, how does he still have his job?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and what I want to know is, how did we win the bidding for that here? How did Nashville SC win? Because you would think there were other teams like, yeah, we want him here.
Right.
Just take all our money.
I have no idea. I just am trying to imagine this happening in like football. Not
picking up Derrick Henry's.
Somebody forgets to put the franchise tag paperwork in for
Pat Mahomes.
For like when Lamar Jackson got the non-exclusive tag a couple of years ago, and it was like you could sign him, but you'd have to send the Ravens 2 first-round picks. It's like somebody just forgetting to put that in, and Lamar Jackson hits free agency.
Yes. No, you're exactly right. It's one of the biggest GM gaffes I can ever remember. I guess the one that I would put it up there with is the Vikings missing their first-round pick.
Yeah, where they just ran out of time.
They're picking.
I believe it's happened twice, and it was the Vikings both times. I want to say, I think I saw that somewhere.
I remember people were saying, "Well, was it a big deal? They still got the guy they wanted." I'm like, "No, that's a big deal."
Yeah.
Look, this is for GM. This is your Super Bowl, and you missed kickoff.
It's very true. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Nashville SC, a little bit of a break here for international play. They will be back on the pitch on April 4th.
Yeah, I can't remember all the guys who got called up.
Yeah, I think Nick Frazier told us it was 6 guys.
Yeah, I'm sure Yazbek's one of them. He's a mainstay on that Australian team now. Nahar maybe for Honduras.
Yeah.
And then there's some younger guys who play for some of the smaller nations.
Right.
But yeah.
They won't play again until April 4th against Chicago at Soldier Field.
They're actually good this year.
Yeah, the Chicago Fire. And then Nashville versus Club America at Geodis Park, April 7th. So
let's go.
Going to be a fun April for Nashville SC, and they are off to a great start, currently leading the Eastern Conference with 13 points. 615-737-1025. Cory Curtis was out at the Media Stadium tour yesterday for the new Nissan Stadium.
I was.
We will get into that coming up next. Talk some Titans, talk some NFL in hour number 2 on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Second hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis from News 2, Parker Kelly broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Fun first hour, talking the two hottest teams in Nashville, Preds and Nashville SC, both with big weekends. Nashville will take a little break here. They'll be back in April. The Predators back in action tomorrow at Bridgestone Arena against the New Jersey Devils. But let's talk some Titans here, and specifically about the new Nissan Stadium. Cory Curtis, you were out there yesterday, a little media tour, as we are now within a year away from the stadium being done. And from all the videos and all the tweets I saw, it looked really cool. It looks like you can see everything starting to come together.
You absolutely can. Look, they've been doing these tours every few months, and this is the first one I've been on for whatever reason, one reason or another. I've had to miss the other ones, and so it's the first chance I've gotten to go in and see all of it personally. And you just bigger and better.
Yeah,
everything is bigger and better. One of the first things they showed us is the players at the old Nissan Stadium park outside. And then they have to walk down
a tunnel,
the world's longest flight of stairs. I mean, it's really ridiculous. In the new stadium, they'll all park underneath, and they will park like 25 yards from their locker room.
That's great. And it seems like there's a ton of those kinds of adjustments that they've made to modernize the stadium.
Well, and then the new locker room has 65 or 67 lockers in it instead of 55.
Okay.
So they'll be able
practice squatters.
So they'll be able to put everybody in there.
Yeah.
It's also over 8,000 square feet. There's dedicated space for coach's office and lounge. They don't have that in the old stadium. They kind of make shift where the coaches and everybody go.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of space for everyone. And it's really cool too. There's in the old stadium, there's one way out, and that's the main tunnel. In the new stadium, there's going to be two ways for the players to go on the field. There'll be the main tunnel where they get introduced.
Okay. Yeah.
But then there's going to be a side entrance where it takes them directly to the sideline.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so they'll probably use that a lot, like during warmups and everything.
Yeah.
But they'll walk through this club bar that's going to be called the Club 1960. And so you'll walk through the middle of it to get to the field. So like people will be able to stand there
and watch the players
watch, high five them, whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
As they go out on the field. So that's just one of the cool aspects of it. I can spout off all the other information. They've got double the amount of bathrooms. There are 4 escalators in the current building. There are 44 escalators in the new building. Everything is designed to streamline the fan experience.
Instead of if you're on the third deck at the current Nissan Stadium where you have to go ramp.
Yes. and now you have one gift shop, one team shop.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
New stadium, and that's 4,000 square feet.
Right.
In the new stadium, you have 4 satellite team stores that are 3,000 square feet each.
Wow.
And the main team store is 2 stories and 11,000 square feet.
That's crazy.
So you're going to have 23,000 square feet of shopping if you want it. But, the views for the fans are going to be like Geodis Park, where there are no bad seats.
That's what it looked like.
So that's, to me, what is most exciting. Like, I don't want to talk about the pricing because that's just going to get me upset.
Yeah.
But the sites are going to be great. One of the things that really impressed me, though, is I understand not everyone takes in games like I do. All right. When I go to a game, I don't care about the band. I don't care about the cheerleaders. I don't care about the halftime show. I go to watch the game.
Yep.
And I sit and I watch the game. Not everybody is like me. I understand that. And they have just like, they've got giant like bar areas that you can like come up to the 100 level and sit there, and you can see the field from everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So like when you come in the main entrance and you come up the escalator, the first thing you see is the field.
And see, that is something that I think, you're not going to realize how cool that is
No,
until
it's
you
awesome.
experience it.
It's awesome.
If anybody out there has ever been to, have you been to Atlanta's stadium, Mercedes-Benz?
Yes.
That was the same experience I had, and I was so used to Nissan Stadium, and I grew up around DC, so FedEx Field, which is it's your typical built in 1995 to 2000 stadium where you're not getting that experience. I walked into Mercedes-Benz Stadium and it was like a spaceship, and it's immediately you open the doors and you see the field. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and so my first reaction to Burke Nihill when I'm standing there and I'm seeing like all these like venues that you can not be seated from and see the game, and I'm looking at the rail, and I know you've got 360 degrees. You can walk all the way around, and you can see the field from every step. I'm like, Burke, I know this place only holds like 60,000, but you can sell a ton of standing room seats.
Right.
And he's like, there is the potential for that. And so there is the potential for capacity to be higher than the seated capacity. And so number one, you can get a cheaper ticket.
Right.
Number two, you can enjoy the game in a different way. You can go to the bar and you can eat nachos and have a drink and watch the game from there. And then you can go stand at the rail for a while and maybe just go to the rail for the fourth quarter. And I mean, I get for some people that's the way they would love that experience.
Yeah.
But I love being able to see the game from everywhere. I really do. And so, like I said, there's a lot of numbers I can throw out there of stuff that's better. It's going to be a first-class venue. And I told you this when we came in, is I'm standing there overlooking the bowl, and I'm thinking about Titans games and going, yeah, this will be great. Then the next thought that comes to my head is, man, this is going to be a great Final Four venue.
Yes. Yeah. and that's the one thing that I think, yes, it's going to be a great venue for the Titans, but it is perfect for Nashville in that you're going to be able to attract those big events like a Final Four, and also having concerts year round in there, being able to sell a 60,000 foot state or 60,000.
Well, the thing
stadium.
is, yes, you'll be able to have that 60,000 seat stadium concert, but you could also have smaller concerts in there as well.
Yeah.
Like you can just use the end zone or you can use the club level. I mean, it's going to be really versatile. And I think haven't they already got it like slated for WrestleMania? I think that was the first thing they got.
Yeah. I think I did see that actually.
Yeah.
Which would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, and it's still on track for 2027. I tweeted out a picture yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. You can see there's cables like a checkerboard across the field. That's the roof.
Oh, and they're going to lift it.
And it all gets cranked up. All right. And that's what's going to suspend the roof.
Gotcha.
Now that's still September away. So that's 5-6 months away from being completed.
Yeah.
And if Burke hears this, forgive me if I got this information wrong because I'm going off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think he said every 4 feet of cable is like 100 pounds.
Wow.
I was like, whoa, because there's a ton of cable down there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the one thing you noticed, just I didn't go on the tour, but like driving past it is the scale of it. Like,
I didn't expect it to be that big.
It is crazy thinking the capacity is about the same in terms of seated fans. Yeah, it's actually less, but the scale of the building is just massive.
Well, in the rest, I mean, it's with the experience for the players and the fans to be better. Everything is bigger and better. Concessions are touchless. Which they've been doing at Nissan at the old Nissan Stadium for a little bit now. Yeah, but this will be way better.
Well, I'm sure.
Confident in that.
I'm sure, but they've at least been testing that out. Yeah. Which makes it feel a little bit easier there.
They also have, I can't remember how many square feet. I thought it was over like 10,000 square feet of video board, and it wraps all the way around the bowl.
Okay,
so like you've got the two end zones. And then you've got video ribbons that wrap around. And I think Burke was telling me that they got that idea from a smaller soccer stadium in Europe.
Oh,
somebody brought it in and showed them.
Yeah.
And like, wow, if we could do that. And so, when you talk about getting ideas from everywhere, like they got a lot, they went to Allegiant in Vegas and got a lot of ideas from that, but they got ideas from all over the place. And yes, they did listen to the players and the training staff for what what their needs are and what they liked at other venues that they've seen around the country.
615-737-1025. If you have any reaction to the Titan Stadium, which is now yet less than a year away, we will take your texts and calls on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We will talk Titans, we'll talk NFL in this second hour. Our coverage of the football offseason is always brought to you by Tennessee Brewworks, locally brewed, community-driven. Tennessee Brewworks, the official craft beer of the football offseason coverage on ESPN 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Tee it up with us at the 5th annual 615 Open, May 28th at Hermitage Golf Course. We are once again supporting Folds of Honor to help them fund life-changing scholarships for families of America's fallen heroes. Register now to play or sponsor at 615open.com. Jake Lyman, Cory, Curtis, Parker, Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Talking about the new Nissan Stadium. Tours given out yesterday to the media as they are getting closer and closer to finishing up. February of 2027 is the expected finish date. There was one thing I saw yesterday that Burke Nihill said that I wanted to hit on. Apparently, there is a way to expand the capacity with risers, he said.
I did not have that conversation with him. Burke talked with Tehran, I think, about that.
Gotcha.
So I had not heard that. So yeah, I guess they think they can put in 3,000 or 4,000 more seats.
Right. Let me see if I can find the tweet from TD. Yeah, here it is. TD put this out yesterday. In the event the Titans get a Super Bowl or other big-time event, the new Nissan Stadium can add additional seats via risers that can be installed on the 300 level. So that might be important because I know there was something out there of the minimum capacity to host a Super Bowl. The NFL, if they want to put a Super Bowl in Nashville, they're going to put a Super Bowl in Nashville. But maybe that could make it a technicality. They could smooth it over.
So if you're talking, 3,000 seats in risers, ballpark, let's say 3,000 standing room seats.
Right. That gets you close to 70.
Yeah, you're at 66.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I don't think it'll be an issue. Again, I think if Nashville is the best place for a Final Four or a Super Bowl, and you look and you say, based on everything we've seen with this city hosting major events, it's been a success. They're going to find a way to get it here.
And I did not ask about this. I didn't want to ruin the day for them. I'm like, where's everybody going to park?
See, yeah, that is the one big thing, because I guess the plan is when they demolish the old stadium, it's going to be a park. I didn't realize that.
Part of it will be a park, and part of it will be mixed use.
Okay. I was thinking like the Battery in Atlanta was kind of what they might try and do over there, make an entertainment district.
I think the way Burke described it was to have a Wrigleyville feel.
Okay, gotcha.
And so I think there will be I think the city is slated to have some affordable housing in there.
Okay.
As well. So I think like I said, it'll be mixed use.
Okay.
So I think there will be restaurants and some shopping, but I think there will also be places for people to live in there. And again, part of that area will also be a park, So I think the plan ultimately, and forgive me if I'm wrong on this, I think they want people parked downtown. Right.
And honestly, I'm, taxpayer money paid for some of this. I wonder if that was part of it, was like, hey, we're not going to have a ton of parking for you. You can go spend some money on Broadway before you make your way across to that.
Well, sure. I mean, and that's, they built that bridge for a reason.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And I'm sure, most of the locals and season ticket holders, I'm sure, are not going to be parking downtown and walking over and getting a drink at Laney Wilson's bar or whatever it is. But
I wonder how big ride sharing becomes, as time goes on, and how big of a ride share drop off location they have for people who want to be dropped off at the stadium. Because if you've got the money for season tickets, you've got the money for somebody to drop you off at the stadium.
And that's the thing is, especially for pro sports, I think tailgating is becoming it's becoming less prevalent in pro sports teams. You're seeing more pro sports teams say, hey, we're going to put a bunch of restaurants around the stadium. You can go there, go bars, restaurants, and then come to the game, rather than big, wide open parking lots for you to tailgate. Not everywhere, but I do think the new stadiums are being built with more of an idea of you're going to go to our bars instead of tailgate.
Okay, well, what are you saying? You're going to spend your money with us.
Yes.
You're not going to barbecue out at your car.
Right. You're not going to go pick up
hot
dogs and brats.
You're going to pay $12 for a beer and $9 for a hot dog and say thank you.
Right. And I that makes sense. But with the new stadiums, like I mentioned Atlanta, there's nowhere to park there either. Like it's right downtown. And then like Vegas Allegiant Stadium, same thing. I know Ford Field isn't exactly new, but I
like Ford Field.
I have not been in Ford Field, but I went to Comerica across the street last summer, and the the district they have there is very cool in Detroit. That area with the stadiums, the Pistons and Red Wing Stadium is a block and a half the other way. It's a nice setup they have.
A lot of people bang on Detroit, and I think Detroit's doing a nice job of kind of reinventing itself.
Yeah.
I don't hate going there. And like I said, I like Ford Field a lot.
Yeah.
And I think for the feel of the city, that the stadium has the right feel, as it's a very industrial feel inside. And, and I think it's really, really good. Like Cleveland, I don't like.
Yeah, I haven't been to Cleveland before that. It's right on the river.
It smells like
the
dead
lake.
fish.
Yeah.
It's every time I walk out there in Cleveland, like, it smells like dead fish. All right.
The Browns, they don't have a whole lot going for them, but they're building a new stadium too, I believe, right?
Yeah, I feel like they just built that one.
Yeah, I think I saw that they have plans to build a new one.
Yeah, they're still gonna stink.
Anyway, lots of new stadiums being built. Chicago's getting one. Cleveland's getting one. Washington's getting one. Yeah, we don't have to get into the Indiana Bears. Let's go to our phone lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Adam in Portland is called in. Adam, thanks for calling. What you got for us?
So it's weird that you said talk about the Cleveland that way, because that's one of the away games I've got to see for the Titans. And the feeling is like you're watching an old TV show, like when All in the Family rolls the credits or something like that. You're just like, man, they don't update anything here. It's insane how it's just got a film over the top of the whole city. Anyway, that's not why I called you. So
you don't like Cleveland either?
No, not a huge Cleveland fan. Well, I like playing them. We do pretty well with Cleveland. But, hey, look, the parking situation, they assured us in the season ticket meetings that parking would not be an issue. Now, you could have just been trying to sell really
nothing to see here.
Well, I think, without any answer. But, no, I think they said it's going to be a huge uptick in the shuttle service. Like, I think the investment is going to be everybody's going to be on shuttles.
Yeah,
it's the feeling I got from it.
So, thank you, Adam. Because, I used to work in Houston, and they would shuttle people in from parking lots would be like a mile away.
Yeah.
And they would shuttle people in. I think in Atlanta, they shuttle people in.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they probably learned from some of that, if you can have people park off site, but you really need to have a way to get them to the stadium. Because not everybody wants to walk a mile or two.
Yeah.
Some people are capable and want to, but not everybody does.
Right. You have to have ways to get people there.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a family of 4, you probably don't want to walk. You just get them all in the shuttle and go. So I that would be great. I mean, I Nashville SC does a lot of things really well. The parking situation over there is still not great. I have figured out places to park, and I think most people who go to those games, I think they could benefit from a remote parking site and a shuttle service.
Yeah.
That's just me spitballing, spending someone else's money.
I know the Predators do it. I think you can park over across the river.
We used to be able to park at Nissan Stadium and kick a shuttle over.
And I think you still can in some of those lots. I'm not 100% sure. At least I think last season I know that you could. But maybe that is going to be the solution there. Is they're not going to build a whole lot of big parking lots around the stadium, but they'll have options for you and shuttle you in, which, I mean, it's better than nothing. For sure.
Look, as long as they've got a way to get you there, I'm not going to argue with it.
Right.
It's just when there are no options, when there are no good options, other than spending, $50 at a lot, that's the worst, man. You've already paid through the nose for your tickets.
Right. Exactly. Especially with what they're costing the new stadium. So 615-737-1025. It was cool to see all of the content that came out of the tours yesterday, and it'll be ready before we know it. Next February, the stadium should be finished and getting ready for the final season in that stadium coming up next. 615-737-1025. We'll get into the draft when we come back. The Dan Orlovsky comments about Ty Simpson have been everywhere lately. I know Parker Kelly has some strong thoughts on this. We will get into our thoughts as well. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 102.5 The Game.
To play the Orlovsky clip, I can try to find it.
If you got it, yeah.
I can try.
As long as it's clean. I know it's McAfee.
Ty Simpson has been a fascinating person in this draft, going back to the middle part of the season where he seemed to be trending towards QB1.
Yeah.
And then the season went on, and there became no question that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first quarterback taken in this draft. Certainly that is at least the conventional wisdom, and Ty Simpson could fall anywhere in the first round. You have looked at the tapes. What are you seeing?
I think Ty Simpson is QB1. I think Ty Simpson is the best quarterback in this class. I think when you look at the body of work and what was asked of these two quarterbacks, you have to start with the question, who needed to do more to carry their football team to play well? Ty Simpson, and it's not close between those two quarterbacks. Who took more games over throughout the course of the season? Ty Simpson. It's not even close. And if we're asking, like, okay, we're trying to see what you are as a player in college and what you're going to be asked to do in the NFL and what translates, I start with, what do you do in moments of panic with the football? Because that's really what separates good to great. I would tell you that Ty Simpson is more consistent in that regard. There's not a ton of moments of panic out of Fernando Mendoza. And then there's moments when he immediately drops his eyes and becomes a runner. Ty Simpson more consistent in that. What guy was asked to do more NFL throws? When I say NFL throws, I'm talking 15, 20, 25-yard in routes, crossing routes, deep corner or sail routes. Yeah. Ty Simpson, and it's not even close in that regard. Downfield throws, the posts and the goes, I think they're close. Mendoza throws a lot of go routes, and he's good at it, but I think they're close. RPO, get it out. That's probably what Mendoza's offense was.
Right.
And then I think throwing on the move, they're both relatively equal. So when it comes to moments of panic and big throws, real NFL throws, I think it's clearly Ty Simpson.
So it is, I mean, to be clear, this will get a lot of attention that you feel this way because you are, at this point, I think one of the people whose opinions on this stuff matter the most. And everyone has their opinion, and this is certainly going to be an unconventional one. But you're comfortable saying if you had the choice between the two of them, you would take Ty right now.
I would much rather have Ty, and I like Fernando Mendoza. This is not to slight Mendoza. Yeah. I would rather have Ty Simpson at the 15 to 20 range than Fernando Mendoza at 1.
That was Dan Orlovsky, a take that has gone viral over the last few days.
Which is exactly what he wanted.
Well, and he kind of hedged his bet a little bit there at the very end.
Well, I think what he said at the end was really important.
Right.
He didn't say that Ty Simpson should be the first pick of the draft. He's saying he's QB1, and there's a difference.
Well, so he said QB1, which is saying that he thinks Simpson is the better player than Mendoza.
But he didn't say he was the first pick of the draft.
At the end, he said he'd rather have Simpson at 15 to 20 than Mendoza at 1. Yeah. And that's not the same question.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And look, I understand that perspective because, like, I mean, look, we all know the job the guy at Indiana's done as the head coach.
Yeah, Signetti. Yeah.
I mean, they got the kid from Ohio last year, and he had a great year. And that's my concern for Mendoza. If Mendoza played at Cal again, where are we talking about him getting picked?
Yeah. 6th,
7th round?
You could make the same argument with Cam Ward last year, though, is, if he stayed at Washington State.
No, I think he was I had heard of Cam Ward. I had not heard of Fernando Mendoza.
No, I agree. I think Ward is the more talented player among the two. But, like, with Mendoza, here's how I view it. I think that Fernando Mendoza is the safer player among the two. If you're picking a quarterback right now and you want to know which one is more likely to be a 10-year starter in the NFL, I would say Fernando Mendoza. If you ask me who's got the higher ceiling, I think I'd go Simpson. And it's probably mostly because we haven't seen enough from Simpson, right? Like, he's a former 5-star recruit. He showed a lot of flashes last year, but there wasn't enough consistency from him. In one of the biggest moments of the year against Oklahoma in the regular season, he turned the ball over 3-4 times, and they lost that game. He was able to beat Oklahoma in the playoff with a comeback, but he got some help from the defense there on a pick 6, and then really didn't do much against Indiana in that Rose Bowl game. So I see what Dan is saying. If you're looking and saying, who's got the higher potential, I think I might go Simpson. I think Fernando Mendoza is more likely to be Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins than he is Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Not saying Simpson's one of those guys, but I think Simpson has a better chance to be a Justin Herbert guy Whereas I do think Mendoza is more of your Kirk Cousins 10-year starter, but probably not an elite player.
Justin Herbert is considered elite arm talent.
Yeah.
You think Ty Simpson is elite arm talent?
I think he could get there. Yeah. I think we just haven't seen like the
100%.
The difference
Okay.
with Herbert is we saw it for 3 or 4 years at Oregon.
Yeah,
With
we
Simpson,
didn't even know. We didn't even know if Simpson was going to start before last season.
Who else was he really competing with in that room?
No,
though?
but it was
Austin Mack. And
Yeah.
it was a competition.
Keelan Russell was a freshman.
I mean,
I agree with you. I would not take Simpson first overall this year, but I'm saying that I think if you're looking at ceilings, I think Simpson's is higher. I think Mendoza is the far safer pick.
look, I will say this. Everybody went crazy about the throw Mendoza made in the Big Ten championship game. I did not. That's a throw he needs to make.
Yeah, it's a back shoulder fade.
It's a throw he needs to make, and they scored like 13 points. So
That was his Heisman moment, but I thought his Heisman moment was the Penn State game.
well,
Which
yeah.
To be fair, like Omar Cooper deserves a lot more credit for that catch than
100%.
Fernando
Well,
Mendoza
and
does for the throw.
That's a bad team too. You
Last
rallied to beat a bad football team.
Yeah.
And so, and look, they're both highly skilled young players. So we're splitting hairs here. But my concerns for Mendoza is how much of it is Signetti and how much of it is him. Now, did I see stuff in the national championship from Mendoza where I go, that was really good? Yeah. I saw more from him in that game to me than I had seen all year. And like, you can't have these conversations with Indiana fans.
No.
They'll just go bonkers.
They think he's the second coming.
Yes. And look, you talk, he talked about what he was asked to do, how much he had to carry the team as opposed. And that was my whole thing with Pavia for Heisman. How much was he asked to do
Yeah.
compared to, he was the offense for Vanderbilt. And that's why he was my Heisman vote. But I look, I don't look at either of them and just go QB1. And go first pick of the draft. I don't. I got a guy at the station named Sam who's a reporter, and he's a huge Raiders fan. He is all about Fernando Mendoza, and I'm like, I'm not having that conversation with you. He's not Caleb Williams.
No.
He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Andrew Luck.
I think it's Jared Goff.
He's the best option viewed this year. Who was in that Caleb Williams draft? It was him,
Daniels, May.
Yeah. Where
Nix,
where
Penix.
would Mendoza go in that draft?
We did the same thing with Cam Ward last year. I think Cam Ward would have been the fourth quarterback off the board there.
Yeah.
I still think that Williams, Daniels, May would have gone before him.
Probably.
But Ward, I think, would have been fourth and well ahead of Penix, McCarthy, Nix.
Mm-hmm.
I would put Mendoza in between Ward and Penix. I would say I would have taken Ward as a prospect ahead of Mendoza, but I also would have taken Mendoza ahead of Penix, McCarthy, or Nix.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I would put him after Ward, but put him ahead of those other guys.
Yes.
Penix, the injury problems, number one. The thing, I think Bo Nix was underdrafted when you look at like what his touchdown to interception ratio was.
Yeah.
And like when you look at we got into before what like negative play percentage. His negative play percentage was really, really low. And that was what Sean Payton loved about him. It's one of his metrics that he looks at quarterbacks. And so I think a lot of the league missed the boat on Bo Nix some. And I haven't looked into that for Fernando Mendoza. We also got to see Bo Nix play for 4 years, and you get some fatigue with that. And frankly, he was better at Oregon than he was at Auburn.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so Mendoza was better at Indiana than he was at Cal, but I never watched him play it down at Cal, so I have no idea. But yeah, so we're still not talking about the guy that you think is generational.
Right.
You think, hey, he was really good last year. Let's hope he can take it to the next level.
Yep. And I think Mendoza is going to be the number 1 overall pick.
There's no question. That's a done deal.
No one in NFL circles, I think, has the same thought as Dan Orlovsky there of like, I'd take Simpson over Mendoza. But
and look, come on. Some of this is about ratings and clicks.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And Orlovsky, I think, has turned into that a little bit. We were talking yesterday about he was on ESPN yelling about Malik Willis getting $40 million a year. And then when he got 25, he took victory laps like he was right. I'm like, 40 and 25 is not the same thing, Dan.
And it wasn't 25.
It was
22.
Something like that. So, no, I agree with you. I think a lot of this is for the shock and awe.
You look at, Jeremiah Love, the national media finally caught up to what we'd been saying here,
right?
Where they all got it. And what's the first thing Adam Schefter does once everybody puts Jeremiah Love at 4?
Pours water on it.
No. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Schefter's saying,
now there's conversations about
He's
it.
also said he doesn't get into the prediction business, but yet he made a prediction yesterday by saying that the Commanders have legitimate interest there,
right?
And that's where he thinks he'll end up.
So. No, I agree with you. A lot of draft season is just trying to make up storylines
because you got so long to get
right.
There.
We've still got 29 days to go until draft day.
I thought there would be a lot more disagreement in this segment. I
think when he couched it at the end,
right,
that's what changed it.
That is funny. The way that he couched it, instead of saying I would take Simpson number 1 overall over Mendoza, he said I would rather have Simpson at 15 to 20 than Mendoza at 1. And that's a completely different question.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with most of the sentiment here with Orlovsky. It's not like either guy is generational. I do not think Fernando Mendoza is generational, but in terms of pure arm talent, I think Ty Simpson's way better. And that's kind of the high ceiling that you were talking about.
Yeah, that's what I think. Simpson has more potential. Mendoza has a much higher floor,
because Ty Simpson, some of the throws he was asked to make last year, and Ryan Grubb came from an NFL system. He was in Seattle the year before, so a lot of what
he was had with Caleb DeBoer at Washington before.
What he was asking them to do were NFL schemes. So a lot of the throws that Ty Simpson made were NFL level throws, and I went back and I watched a lot of the clips, and it made my jaw drop. So the ceiling, I think, is higher for Ty Simpson, but he only started one season.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the question mark. So when Orlovsky says that both of these guys should sit, I kind of do agree with that.
Well, and again, if you're saying that they should sit, then are they really worthy of being first overall? Now, Patrick Mahomes sat.
Yeah.
Steve McNair sat, and it helped both those guys. So I don't think that's a condemning statement.
No, I agree.
But when you're the Raiders and you're terrible and you don't have a quarterback, there's no way this guy's sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
And that's why he's going number 1 overall. If I'm the Raiders, I'm going after Kirk Cousins.
I agree. I think that would be a good pairing to have Cousins there to at least, start the first couple games, and then we'll see what happens there. I don't think it would be a long leash for Kirk Cousins out there.
Yeah.
615.
You're not going to the Super Bowl anyway.
Right. Yeah. The Raiders, I think, know that this is going to be a longer term rebuild than just a year or two. We will continue this conversation on the other side, but first let's go to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Alan in Nashville has called in. Alan, thanks for calling. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Listen, to clarify on the parking at the new stadium, my season ticket rep said what they're going to do is they're going to build hotels with parking garages on the stadium campus.
Okay.
And those hotels are going to allocate parking spots on game day for season passes. So,
those better be big garages.
Yeah, but still, at least it's another option.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of. I mean, have y'all seen the renderings of the new East Bank? It's incredible.
I've seen them from a distance. I haven't studied them up close. I mean, I've seen some of the renderings for the park and for some of the mixed use, but not for the entire East Bank. But yeah, I mean, that whole in 5-10 years, we will not recognize the East Bank.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be like the whole downtown area.
Yes, it'll be an extension of down. It will keep going in that direction.
Right.
Now.
Right. They've stretched Broadway all the way back, and now they're going to send it the other way across the river.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Alan.
Yeah, that's very helpful as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's great. I'm skeptical of how many parking spots a hotel can offer.
Yeah, it depends like how big are those garages going to be. And you say that, but those hotels probably have to be pretty big. Are those being built immediately? You're probably not going to be ready for the first season. So
yeah, well, I guess if they're thinking, hey, if we have 100 spots at $50 a spot, that's an extra $5,000 9 times a year.
Right.
That's that'd be only be $45,000. That wouldn't be worth it. But yeah, so more spots than that. I guess if they had 1,000 spots,
yeah,
and you're talking about $500,000.
Depends on how big these garages are.
Yeah.
615-737-1025. You can text or call. We will wrap up hour number 2 after this. In the third hour, around 11, we will get into college basketball. The Sweet 16 tips off tomorrow. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, finishing up the second hour on this Wednesday. Getting a lot of reaction on the parking questions
Miyagi
for the Titans' new
Karate.
stadium. Let's go to Edward on the phone
Wax
lines
on,
who
wax
wants to check in. Edward, thanks for calling. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Loud
we
and
got
clear.
Okay. Two things. One about, I want to take exception with something Cory Curtis told me about 4
Uh-oh.
weeks ago on the radio.
Uh-oh.
The first thing, a buddy asked me, he goes, "Hey, I got tickets to the SEC tournament. You want to go?" I said, "Yeah, I hadn't been downtown in a while." So I went. I drive a Porsche, so there's $20 for gas coming from Murfreesboro. Okay. Parking. $47.50.
Wow.
Okay? All right. Then a chicken basket with a water, $28. So my 3 tickets cost me $100.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
Now
it's
I want to
crazy.
give a shout out to the Music City Center because they did have parking for $25 to $30. Now to top it off, towards the end of the Mississippi State Auburn game, okay, on that Wednesday,
Mhm.
they send me a text, the parking does, and they say, you can tell I'm really riled up, guys. I need some counseling on this. So they send me a text and say, "Your parking is about to run out. Do you want to continue?" So I was like, "Yeah, I'll get another half hour." The only level I could choose was, guess what? Another 6 hours, $47.50.
Oh, wow.
There should be a law against that.
Yeah.
Now the second thing, Cory, it's all in just sports entertainment
That's
and
fine.
enjoyment of listening to you guys. You made the statement. I said Derek Mason coming back for a third year, the confidence that MTSU was having with him.
Ugh.
Okay, here's my problem. Here's my problem with that. You said that's a money issue, Carl.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why can T. Boone Pickens change the face of Oklahoma State? Why can't other rich people? MTSU is the second largest
Yeah, it is.
university in the state, and they go back and forth with UTK. Okay, the number of families. I see the magazine that comes out quarterly here. Okay, and I see the filthy rich people. Okay,
That have gone there.
Why can't we put together a package and say, hey, this is who we want?
Well, look, Edward, I don't
Urban Meyer. Let's bring Urban Meyer into Middle Tennessee State University. Okay, let's get.
I don't disagree with you, but the problem is it is a money issue. And how many people go to Floyd Stadium? 5,000-10,000?
Yes.
Okay. So the problem you have is that Middle Tennessee graduates are watching Tennessee games.
Yep.
Or watching Auburn games. And so they don't want to donate millions of dollars to Middle Tennessee football, because it's not that important to them. And I'm just look, you get $1 million or whatever it was from Kevin Byard because he is a Blue Raider and he's been a part of it. But until you can get, like you're talking about, some of those graduates who went to Middle Tennessee to really care and want to take the program. I mean, Vanderbilt just went through it, right? I mean, they struggle with fundraising, and now they've got money, and now they're winning.
Okay, isn't that a public relations issue there? I come over here to the campus quite often, and I see some names on some of these buildings.
Yeah.
Those buildings don't get built by themselves by the state of Tennessee.
Nope, that's why there's a name on them.
And so, but I'll tell you this, you're like, well, there's not much you can do about it, Carl, blah, blah, blah. Well, I can do something. I can quit going out there.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. I don't know. I just very disappointed. I like Derek Mason. I do.
That's got nothing to do with it. I mean, you're absolutely,
yeah.
I mean, I like Derek Mason too. They've been really bad for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a commitment that I'm seeing missing. And that's all I'm saying. I'm a Blue Raider through and through.
Mm-hmm.
I know we weren't talking about this. I appreciate y'all taking my call, but I did want to make statements about that, and that parking $47.50 for 6 hours.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's crazy.
Renew it, another $47.50. I saw a news story not long ago. I think it might have been on your channel about parking and some of the I don't know, questionable.
Well, I know
thing.
the story you're talking about. There's a company out of California that was running some of the lots, and they were actually punished by the city of Nashville for having
Yeah.
difficulties paying for your parking.
Gotcha.
And just making it difficult
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
much easier to, penalize you.
Yeah.
And,
Right,
and so they ended up having to like pay people back and also provide like free parking or discounted parking for people
Right.
because they were doing such nefarious stuff.
I want to get in line for that free parking. I enjoy your show. Good work. Thank you for letting me vent.
Sure.
Go Blue Raiders. Go Derek Mason. Let's get it done. All right, see you
Thanks
guys.
for the call, Edward.
I feel for Edward. I do. Because it's always that's a tough go. I went to Southern Illinois University.
Yeah.
All right. It's a 1AA school. So it's even a rung down. Fundraising is tough.
Right.
And so until middle can get, we're talking millions influxed, and they've got campaigns for it and they've been using it to upgrade the facilities.
Yeah.
But you can't pay coaches when they're building the infrastructure.
Right.
And then I think once they get the infrastructure built, and I hate to say, well, then Derek Mason will be gone because I don't want anybody to get fired. I don't. I want them to win. I want Derek to win. Derek's a good dude.
Right.
And I want him to win. But results are results.
Yeah.
And you hear Edward. I mean, he's disappointed. He should be disappointed. I know Derek's disappointed. They're terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not fun to watch. Why spend your money to go out and watch something that's not fun to watch? It's one of the conversations I had with Derek Mason. He wanted the fans to come out before the product.
Right.
He's like, help us build the product. And I was like, I'm with you, Derek, but that's not the way it works.
If you win, they will come.
Yes. I mean, that's when Kermit Davis, he was like, how do I get people to the stadium? I said, you have to beat people that they've heard of in your stadium.
Yeah.
You have to beat somebody that they've heard of, preferably in your stadium. And, he started to do that. And middle basketball they used to have a lot of people there.
Yep.
And, so you win and you beat people. I mean, there was a while there with Rick where they knocked off Maryland a couple times.
Yep.
And there was some steam around the program. Maybe not big steam, but there was some good feeling around the program. And so they're a long way from there right now. The best feeling about the program is that the infrastructure is getting better.
Yes. Yeah. The facilities that they've built up there are very nice. And hopefully that leads to some improvement in the win total as well. 615-737-1025. Appreciate all the callers this hour. We will move on to college basketball in hour number 3. The Sweet 16 starts tomorrow. Tennessee men playing on Friday night. Vanderbilt women playing Friday afternoon. We'll get into all of it along with some of the other big matchups coming up next. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up. 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5, the game final hour on your Wednesday morning. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Let's talk some college hoops. Sweet 16 is here.
Boy, there's some really good games.
I'm excited. Tomorrow, Friday, we've got some great basketball going on. I have said it all week. I've got Arizona, Arkansas circled for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
That is going to be a
Illinois,
great
Houston.
game. Illinois, Houston.
That's a great game.
Going to be fun. Those are the 2 late night games tomorrow. The early games are interesting, but for different reasons. You got Texas, Purdue, which is like, can Texas keep it going from first 4 to the Elite 8? And then Iowa, Nebraska is the fans are certainly going to have some fun down there.
I like Nebraska's chance of moving on,
which is to go from not having a single NCAA tournament win to the Elite 8 in one season would be pretty impressive.
You talk about this North Carolina job. Does Fred Hoiberg's name come up at all?
It's possible. I've seen
the guy's just. I mean, he's won huge at Iowa State and he won huge now at Nebraska.
Right, and now I've seen. If talking about Iowa State, Otzelberger there has been brought up. Mark Byington's been brought up.
Yep.
And Todd Golden too. I think that's the first guy they call. Probably is just hey,
guy at St. Louis.
Yeah.
He just signed an extension.
Gotcha. So
coaches and contracts don't mean anything, Parker.
But I said this to a friend last night that I think the Hubert Davis firing is going to be a lot like James Franklin at Penn State. He's going to get a lot of coaches paid, but I'm not sure like North Carolina is going to get their top option.
I do, because I think that job it's one of like the 3-4 jobs. Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke.
I agree.
Those are the jobs.
North Carolina is a much higher pedigree of job than Penn State football, but
I was asked about Mark Byington Monday on a different show.
Yeah.
And in North Carolina, and they're like, "Well, what do you think?" I go, "Well, I think you have to go."
I mean, I don't even think money would be the issue there. It would be just
it's North Carolina.
It's North Carolina.
Yeah, no, it's North Carolina. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to disparage Vanderbilt. I mean, this is like if you're a college football coach and Alabama or Notre Dame calls, you go. I mean, that's just the way it is.
But you can't, and it's different because you're not following Roy Williams. You're following Hubert Davis. But like Alabama opened up after Saban, and lots of guys leveraged it for more money at their current schools.
Yeah, you also are replacing
again
the absolute
little different, and maybe
ask Kalen DeBoer how that is.
Maybe this is how North Carolina. This is the cycle North Carolina does get everybody interested because
the bar's not so high.
Right, you're taking over at a low point.
But you still have all of the support you're going to need.
It's kind of crazy too, because do you think if Caleb Wilson doesn't get hurt, does he get fired?
It's a good question. They're certainly moving on. They're certainly on a. I mean,
but they don't lose to VCU if Caleb.
But if they
plays.
lose in the round of 32, he might.
Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, it's like Bill Self at Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas. It's been 4 years in a row they haven't got past the round of 32.
Right, but
that's not good enough.
The year before that, they won the national championship.
But that's 4 years. I mean, look. We saw what's his name get fired at Auburn the year after they won the championship in football.
Oh, you mean at LSU?
No,
Coach
Auburn.
O?
Well, Coach O, but Auburn too.
Oh, yes.
He's ESPN analyst now.
Yeah.
But they won with Cam, and then the next year they were terrible. He got fired. I mean, this happens. All right, and so Hubert Davis had a good run a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he played Kansas in that national championship game.
Okay, but so Kansas 4 years in a row, they're spending a ton on NIL, and they're not getting past the round of 32. And I'm not saying they're going to fire Bill Self. I'm just saying that seat's probably getting a little warm right now.
And you look around like this could be a crazy coaching cycle, similar to the one we just saw in football, because North Carolina, that's a domino effect. Somebody's taking that job, which will open up another one.
Yep.
You're right. Maybe Bill Self at Kansas. Maybe there is some smoke there.
He's had some health issues too.
Right.
Maybe he says, I'm done.
So it's going to be a hectic couple of weeks here. And Vanderbilt is definitely there. There's going to be conversations, I'm sure, of Mark Byington to North Carolina.
Like, I know he likes it here. I know that, the coaches at that school, Vanderbilt, really rally around each other.
Yeah.
And they generally all like working with each other.
Right.
And I think there's a real community there. But as I said, North Carolina is North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I would be stunned if he turned down North Carolina to stay. And again, not to be disparaging towards Vanderbilt in
Not
the
at all.
slightest. It's, Billy Bean, why are you here? It's the Red Sox.
It's the Red Sox, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And I don't think Byington's going to be their first choice. I think they're
I don't either.
They're
He
going
hasn't
to
got
look
past the round of
elsewhere.
32.
Right. So I don't think Byington is going to be like, hey, Hubert Davis is gone. We're calling up Mark Byington.
Yeah.
But I do think that he's on the list somewhere.
Sure.
And
he should be.
Yes, it obviously would be disappointing if he left for North Carolina, and long way to go before that's a reality.
I'd call him Fred Hoiberg, man. That's me. I'm calling Fred Hoiberg.
Right. And speaking of those two guys, I do want to get your thoughts. What a game.
I also heard Billy Donovan.
Yeah, I did hear that too, because Billy Donovan apparently wants out of Chicago.
He should. They're terrible.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Billy Donovan knows how to coach.
And that would be a very interesting kind of outside the box hire to bring him back to college basketball.
Be a good way to end his career.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that could
I
be.
remember him as a player. I'm so old.
How about Todd Golden takes the UNC job and then Billy Donovan just heads back to Florida?
Good.
It could work.
I mean, how long has Golden been at Florida? 3 years?
3. Yeah.
3 years.
And, won the national championship last year.
So you've won the national championship, and you've had another team this year that was
a 1 seed. Yeah,
that was a 1 seed. Do you leave for North Carolina from Florida?
That's a good question.
I mean,
I do think he gets a call. It might be.
Oh, no, I know he gets a call, but is it the same as I say going from Vanderbilt to?
No, because Florida's got national championship pedigree in basketball.
They got banners,
right? Like it's not,
and he's got a banner.
Florida's not North Carolina.
He'd be giving up a job at a school where he won it all,
right?
And that is far different.
Yeah. So that's going to be. I mean, not that it's a shock that Hubert Davis was let go last night.
No,
but it does
feel it happening.
You see the domino effect start, and with Vanderbilt, you hope that somebody above Byington on that list takes it, but. Because especially for Vandy, I mean, you're an inch away from playing in the Sweet 16 tomorrow night. I mean, Tyler Tanner's shot, I thought it went in. I really did.
Yeah.
And you're not there, but you've seen the progress you went from a 9-win team in Stackhouse's last year to making the NCAA tournament last year. You were a 5 seed and probably a pretty slighted 5 seed.
No, they were the most slighted team, and then had to play a home game against Nebraska.
Right. And
yeah,
playing the SEC title game too.
The other thing I really like about Mark Byington is last year the team, as you said, was much better than when he took over, and he identified how he wanted it to be even better.
Yeah,
and I think they only kept like 3 players, and they brought in all new players, and they did get even better. So he was right.
Yeah,
and he was able to execute it, and I think seeing that. Okay, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
He's and so what's his plan for this year? I'm sure he's got one.
Yeah. Does Tyler Tanner come back is a big question.
I would think so.
I think he will.
And see, this is, and I might have talked about this Monday morning. This is where, people lament NIL. This is where NIL makes college basketball a better game.
Yeah. Because
now it's a choice for Tyler Tanner to stay.
Right.
Where a few years ago, he's gone. He doesn't have a choice. He's got to take the money.
Back 10 years ago, if Tyler Tanner was told, hey, you're probably going to be the 25th pick in the draft this
year.
I
got to go.
Yep, you're going.
Guaranteed contract.
But
now he can make $2-3 million, do Blair Durham commercials, and stay here at home.
Right.
And get stronger, develop his game more.
Right. And you're probably still a draft pick next year.
Yep.
So I agree with you. John, thank you on the YouTube chat. Gene Chizik was the guy we were thinking.
Gene Chizik.
Yes, they fired him, and then Malzahn took over. They got back to the national championship game.
Yep.
Lost to Florida State.
Yeah, but it's just like I said, it's not unheard of to win a national championship and get fired a year later. That happened to Doug Peterson in the NFL as well.
Right. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you have thoughts. Caleb does make a point here that Hubert Davis's win percentage over the last 5 years is higher than Tom Izzo's.
Wow.
But there is a point when
it's March
in all of sports, college sports specifically, where if you have the banners, like Izzo has a national championship banner and he's gotten them
27
to
years
final,
ago,
right?
26 years
long
ago.
time ago, but like he has gotten to a point where
Yeah.
being a 3 seed every year is okay because you're Tom Izzo.
Well, you give yourself a chance every year.
Right. For Hubert
But
Davis,
North Carolina was a 6 seed.
Right. Well, and again, if Wilson doesn't get hurt, they're probably a 4.
Yeah.
Maybe a 3. So you'll never know, but the North Carolina job is open, and we'll have to see how that works out with the rest of the college coaching landscape. 615-737-1025. We'll talk about some of the games going on this weekend. Again, Sweet 16 starts tomorrow. The Vols play on Friday against Iowa State. We'll talk about all of it. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. 1025 The Game's coverage of the NCAA basketball tournament is presented by Toyota, Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery, Maple Street Biscuit Company, Thompson Machinery, and Pizzona MD. The Sweet 16 tips off tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. The Vols play on Friday against Iowa State. That is a 9:10 Central Time tip. Excited for that one. The Vols getting through to the Sweet 16 for the 4th straight year. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly with you. Cory, Vols have any chance to get back to the Elite Eight for the 3rd straight season?
Yeah, sure they do. I mean, look, they just knocked off the 3 seed.
Yeah.
But I don't like the matchup for them. I'm just going to say that. Look, Nate Ament needs to be healthy too. He's clearly a little dinged up right now. But the simple fact is they're averaging about 17 turnovers a game. Iowa State forces about 22 turnovers a game.
Yeah.
That's a really, really, really bad combination. So Boswell and Gillespie have to have phenomenal games taking care of the basketball. Because if they don't, they're going to lose by 20.
Yeah, and Iowa State, they're not 100%. Joshua Jefferson got hurt in that opening game against Tennessee State, and they
didn't play, and they routed Kentucky.
Well, they fell behind early to Kentucky, and I was like, oh, man, are the Wildcats going to make a run?
But then what happened?
And then Iowa State pedaled to the metal, rolled past them.
Turned on the screws, turned them over, and won by 20.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I would pick Iowa State in this game, but it is I said this earlier on in the week, and Rick Barnes, you got to give him credit for what he's been able to do this year. The last 2 seasons, there was a lot of expectation, and they came up short of getting to that Final Four.
Year.
Yes, and this was supposed to be a little bit of a down year. Like, you had Ament, and that's a lottery pick that you brought in as a freshman. But this was not a team that was expected to get back to the second weekend of the tournament. They've been able to do it.
Yeah, no, look, Rick Barnes can coach. Back when I was a little baby sportscaster in Columbia, South Carolina, Rick Barnes took over at Clemson. He was a young head coach back then. He had left from Providence and came in. And I remember like just a few games into his tenure, and we would go up to Clemson and cover them some. And so I got a chance to talk and see him. And I was like, this guy can really coach.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I knew he was not long for Clemson. I'm like, he is a big time coach. And so when he became available to Tennessee, I was like, they need to make this hire yesterday. And they did. Texas can do what they want. They have a great coach, and he 4 years in a row, Sweet 16. That's great. That's really great. He's done a good job of reloading with players. He does a good job of developing players. All of his teams play defense. Have they come up short in the tournament? You can say that, but again, if they lose this game, is it a disappointment? Is it a failure? They're playing the 2 seed.
Yeah.
All right. A team capable of winning the national championship. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose. It's like Vanderbilt. All right. You were the 5. They were the 4. There was a home game for them, and you lost a shot at the buzzer. Does that mean you played poorly? No. You just lost the game. That's all. It's disappointing. Yeah. But I didn't go, well, Byington came up short in that one. He didn't come up short. They lost by an inch. They played a really good team in a tough environment. And that's what the tournament is. Look, when you're the 15 and you lose to the 2, or 2 and you lose to the 15, that's a failure.
Yeah.
Okay. We all know the games that are failures, but we're in the Sweet 16. There's not look, if Arizona loses to Arkansas, Arizona wants to win it all. It's going to be a disappointment. It's a disappointment.
Yeah.
But Acuff might be the best player in the country.
Yeah.
And those guys have a tendency to win games. And if he beats you, he beats you.
And I know Tennessee fans, you want to get the Final Four. Like, you've come up just short.
Yeah.
But as we just had the conversation about with Tom Izzo, it's like he hasn't won a national championship in 26 years.
Yeah.
But he has them in the conversation every year.
Every year.
With Rick Barnes, that's what he's built Tennessee into. They are in the national conversation every year. Yes, they've come up short. But you're right. In a down year, a year where
Sweet
the
16?
expectations were lower to get to the Sweet 16, it's really impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And look, if they somehow got by Iowa State, who would they get? Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan and Alabama's on the other side.
Yeah. So I mean, not impossible, but I would not bet on it.
Unlikely.
I would not bet on it. And is this probably the only year you get Ament?
I would guess he's a lottery pick.
Yeah.
I would think he goes.
So at least you got a Sweet 16
right
out of him. I mean, like I said, how much did they pay for that guy at Kansas who played half the season and then
Yeah.
bowed out in the round of 32?
Yeah, Peterson.
They did not get the bang for the buck there. With Nate Ament, I think you got what you paid for.
I agree. I would definitely agree with that. And the one region we haven't touched on yet is that East region with all the coaches together. I mean, Shire, of course, is younger, but 1 seed Duke playing Patino and St. John's, and then you got Izzo versus Hurley and Michigan State UConn. That's going to be really fun on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see 2 coaches with veins popping out of their heads, Hurley and Izzo.
How about Hurley versus Cronin in the round of 32, and then Hurley Izzo in the Sweet 16? And you know what? Maybe it sets up we get Hurley Patino one last time in the Elite Eight.
Those are great games. Those are great games, great matchups. I really think you saw with Patino winning in the last round. You saw the superior coach win.
Yeah,
that's what you saw. You saw the superior coach win. I mean, Bill Self's got a national title. I understand that. He's good at program building, but I think when you talk about coaching the game, I think Rick Pitino is far superior. I think he is. And I think Rick Pitino is going to give Duke a very hard time in this basketball game.
I agree.
I think it's going to be low scoring. And, if you get to 70, you're going to win. This can be a tough one for Duke to get through. Now they're going to win by 30, but I think it'll be a tough game.
Well, yeah, Duke's still banged up. Caleb Foster, not guaranteed that he's going to play. I don't know if we've gotten the availability reports yet for that. That game's on Friday, so definitely not. But
I picked UConn and Duke in these 2 games. This is the way my bracket.
I think I had Michigan. I had the same 4. I picked Michigan State and Duke.
Okay, I have UConn and Duke and UConn to go to the Final Four.
Okay, yeah.
But these games are really kind of a toss-up to me. If I had to pick one that I thought was a for sure winner, I would say it was UConn.
Okay.
I like UConn the best of these 2 matchups because, like you said, Duke's a little banged up, and I think St. John's is feeling it.
I mean, St. John's has lost once in like the last month and a half.
Yeah.
So
and they've got a great coach.
They do.
You look at everywhere Rick Pitino's been.
He has his flaws, but he's a great coach.
Yes. I mean, without a few missteps, his reputation is far different. But when you talk about the last 40 years, best coach in college basketball, he's right up
He
there.
deserves the conversation.
Absolutely.
100%. And excited for the Sweet 16. Again, tips off tomorrow. Tennessee will play late night on Friday. So lots of great basketball coming up this weekend. Matthew in Nashville texted and asked, any chance you guys will do a baseball segment since today is opening night on Netflix? We're not going to do one today, but I will tell you, our good friend Jeff Hem is going to join the show tomorrow.
There you go.
Because
Pete Crow Armstrong just got a new deal with the Cubs.
Yes, he did.
And really kind of at a discount.
Yeah, well, I like when teams do that, and I'm hoping – so Kevin McGonigal, the top prospect for the Tigers, he made the opening day roster. I like when teams sign their young guys to deals just off the bat, like 6 years, 115.
You know how much money they're going to save?
Right, without going to arbitration with them.
I mean, if they signed him for 3 years and $45 million, you know how much they would have to pay him in 3 years?
Right. So
ridiculous. They're going to save themselves $100 million.
Exactly. And that's why I'm hoping the Tigers announce an 8-year, $100 million extension with Kevin McGonigal and just say that dude's the best hitter in the minor leagues. We're going to hedge our bet a little bit. Yeah. So we are not going to do a full baseball segment today.
We just talked about baseball. There you go.
We did. There it is. Jeff Hem will join tomorrow as the Nashville Sound start their season on Friday, but full opening day is tomorrow across the MLB. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We got a couple more segments with you on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Parker Kelly.
I don't know what this is.
I was about to ask.
Okay, so Cory is not an LFL.
Yeah,
we
not
can check that off the list.
So I was informed yesterday that Parker and Nick Frazier are Ella fellas. This is Ella Langley, and apparently this is
Who is Ella Langley?
She is
okay.
So
all right,
clearly not an Ella fella. She is an up and coming country music star.
Good for her. I'm happy for her. And I am not plugged into the music scene at all. So I could say that probably about
it's a little blasphemous considering you live in Nashville.
No, it's not.
You need to at least be up to
the
date.
music city. It's
you
not
at least
necessarily
need to know who she is.
I live in Franklin. I live in soccer mom.
Okay, you know who else lives in Franklin? Carrie Underwood.
Does she? Okay.
There you go.
We
Your
don't
neighbor.
We don't hang out.
Oh.
No.
If
Yes.
she called, I might, but I doubt it. Here's a funny story. So I was at Walgreens one day and waiting to get a prescription, and somebody walks up behind me and just drills me in the back. And I'm like, whoa. And I turn around and it's Mike Fisher. He's like, hey. And I'm like, hey, thanks for killing me.
Did you ask where Carrie was?
Yeah.
No, I did. That didn't come up.
That wasn't something.
That
Where's
didn't
your
come
wife?
up. But it was just funny. I'm like, hey, I'm at the pharmacy. I could be really sick. You don't need to be hitting me here.
That is funny. And there you go. It confirms that Carrie Underwood does live in Franklin.
Yep.
I will be choosing Texas later on this afternoon.
You will?
Heading down to Fort Worth. Vanderbilt women's basketball getting set for Sweet 16 action, taking on Notre Dame.
Boy, what a matchup.
That Hannah Hidalgo versus Michaela Blakes.
Okay. I don't know what this segment's supposed to be, so I'm sorry.
It's women's basketball.
Okay. And we've complained about this before, and let me complain about it again.
Go ahead.
Why is this game at 1:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah, and I have to miss the show on Friday because of it. Because
that's not my complaint.
No, I understand.
My complaint is that the entire country should watch this in prime time.
I agree, and I look at the schedule, and so here's how I'm going to conceptualize it: is they don't want to be competing directly against the men's games. So the men's games start at 7:00 Eastern time.
I didn't think about that. I stand corrected.
And so also the two regionals are in Fort Worth and Sacramento. You're not going to give Sacramento a 11:30 a.m. tip. So they're getting the late games. So the Fort Worth games kind of had to be in the afternoon. I understand it. I don't love it, but 1:30 tip on Friday.
Yeah, I just think there's got to be a better way to do this. That is as far as marketing your game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Friday afternoon at 1. No one's going to see it. The only people are going to see it are Notre Dame and Vanderbilt fans. And that's a game that I'm sure there are a lot of people, not a lot, but there are other basketball fans who understand what that matchup is.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
see it.
It is two of the top 3 leading scorers in the country facing off
25 points
each other.
a game.
Yep. 25 for Hidalgo, 27 for Michaela.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah Hidalgo also averages 5.5 steals per game.
Yeah. She had 8 in round 2.
She is the best on-ball defender in the entire country. And so that I don't know who her matchup is going to be. Though.
Is she on Galvin or is she on Blake?
She's 5'6". Not that Michaela would tower over her, but I would guess she'd be on Galvin.
Because she's a freshman. You want to try to take advantage of her.
You want to fluster. And Aubrey is, as the coaching staff says, the most unbothered player on the planet. She is, I don't think the moment's going to be too big for her. But
that's where you want to gamble.
I agree. I would think Hidalgo probably gets Aubrey, which would mean former Vanderbilt Commodore Ayanna Moore would be guarding Michaela Blake.
It's the Ayanna Moore revenge game.
It is.
Although I don't think they told her to leave.
No, I think there is no hard feelings.
I think she got paid.
Right. And she was a grad student. She spent 4 years here. So I think it's one of those things.
She's averaging double figures for them.
She's averaging 12, I think. So, and right around, she's doing basically the same thing she did for Vanderbilt last year. Yeah. So
she's a good player.
Very good player. And so that'll be another storyline for that game.
Did you imagine if Vandy still had her and
Camille Pierre?
Yeah.
Camille at NC State, they lost to Michigan over the weekend. So their season's done. But you look and you say, after losing 4 of 5 starters last year, to be where Vandy is now, it's really impressive. And I feel good about the game on Friday. Notre Dame is good. No pushover by any means. It's going to be a very competitive game. But I do think that, you look at it and you say it's Hidalgo versus Blake's,
Mhm.
but I think the supporting cast beyond Michaela Blake's is better than the supporting cast for Notre Dame.
Well, I mean, I think obviously there's a lot of pressure on Galvin, as we said, but
Yeah.
like when you look at the Illinois game and you see Justine Passat come out as hot
Yeah.
as she did, I put the game on her and the young lady from Texas.
Jackalenga, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. If they can get solid performances from those two,
Yep.
It's kind of like Tyler Nickel and Duke Miles for the men.
Right.
If those two can deliver, then I think Vanderbilt will be fine.
Yeah.
But if one or both of them struggle, then Michaela's got to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Well, and I also look at for Vanderbilt as a whole this season. Now, there have been times they've gotten off to slow starts and been able to dig out of it, but your 4 losses. South Carolina went up 13-2 on you. You were down 19 against Ole Miss the first time, 32 at halftime in the second one. Georgia, Michaela Blake's didn't take a shot in the first quarter of that game. Those are your 4 losses. You got off to slow starts in all of them. These 2 postseason games they played so far were up 17-2 on High Point in the first 4 minutes.
Yep.
They were up by 13 at the end of the first quarter against Illinois.
15-2 run.
Throwing the first punch is going to be so important, and I think that could end up deciding who wins this game on Friday.
And again, a lot of that relies on Justine Passat knocking down threes.
Yeah, because Blake's and Galvin draw so much of the defense.
Yep.
Justine's going to get open shots, which
Yep.
for somebody who shoots 43% from 3, I want to say
That's a good thing.
like you want her getting open shots.
I feel like, and you watch every second of every game, she was a McDonald's All-American, was she not?
Justine? Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's taken a little while for her, but I feel like you've seen her confidence level really kind of soaring in the second half of the season. She seems a little more assertive. And like, I don't know, you feel better about the basketball being in her hands now than you did, say, back in November.
She is one of the overlooked stories that I think is just so important to the success this year.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, she transferred from Tennessee.
Yep.
And she played a lot that year because they needed her to play a lot. And she was a 3-point shooter, but the defense wasn't great. She didn't rebound
her
very much.
defense is much better now.
And so last year, when Vandy brought in more talent, Justine didn't play very much, especially early in the season last year. And I think she used that opportunity instead of, pouting and saying, I'm going to go somewhere I can play. She worked hard, and she has been an integral piece. She might be a first-round pick in the WNBA draft this year.
It's funny. I went. Remember when I came out to that practice beginning of the season?
Yes.
And,
yeah.
And I watched Jay Ralph run a practice, and I'm like, wow, she really. It was really interesting to watch how she did it because the players were very empowered.
Yep.
But when I watched Justine Passat at that practice, I went, she's a player.
She's a 6'4" sharpshooter,
but she can run. She's fast. She gets up and down the floor, and she has length on the defensive end. She had a big steal to end one of the games for them.
Yeah,
she poked the ball away. And so, I mean, there's a lot there, and I feel like they're just tapping into it.
I agree, and I think that's why I think WNBA teams are noticing. It's like you got to 6'4", and she can shoot 45% from 3. Like you're going to bet on that.
It's like Big Luke back with the men's team. He was 7 foot. You could knock down 3. We're like, he's an NBA player.
Right. So I've been really pleased with what we've seen from Justine this year, and I think you're right. I think her performance the rest of the way could play a big role.
I think it's going to determine how far they go.
And you're not looking beyond Notre Dame. You can't. But if you do get past Notre Dame, it's almost certainly going to be UConn on Sunday. And that'll be one filled with storylines if it happens.
Yeah. And look, I know everybody's like, well, why do they have to play UConn? Blah, 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 blah. You're going to have to beat them at some point. Regional final is not too early. It is what it is.
If Vandy is going to make it to the Final Four, they were going to have to beat either UConn or UCLA, who have been the two best teams in the country all year. You had to beat one of them to get to the Final Four. That's been my thought process too, is you're going to play a 40-minute game with UConn if you get there.
Yeah.
See if you can get it done.
They've shown against one of the elite teams that they can compete. That was with Texas.
Yeah.
South Carolina, they did not show that they could compete at that level.
Right.
I guess if you want to put LSU at that level too, they showed they can compete with them.
Yeah. I mean, I think most people, when you look at national championship contenders, you're saying it's the 4-1 seeds in LSU. That's the ones that people are saying they've got a legit shot. Vandy's beaten 2 of those teams. So in order to do it, you'd probably have to beat 3 of them in succession. But
I know Texas has beaten South Carolina twice.
Yes.
Which still shocks me.
Yeah.
Because I still consider UConn, South Carolina, and UCLA the 3 lead horses.
Yeah, but Texas is good, and the Vandy game woke them up. They have not lost since.
It'd be interesting to see Vanderbilt play South Carolina again. Because they just got manhandled. So
if Vanderbilt was to get through this weekend, the likely opponent would be South Carolina in the Final Four.
You go to UConn to South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, again, not looking ahead. Notre Dame is the next opponent, but like if Vanderbilt was to go and win a national championship, you would have to beat UConn, South Carolina, and UCLA in 3 straight games.
I still remember that moment after South Carolina. This was not fun.
Yeah.
But it will make us better.
And Shay was exactly right. 615-737-1025. We've got one more segment on this Wednesday. We will wrap up the show coming up next. We'll also get to some of your phones. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Cory Curtis, Parker Kelly. I'm surrounded by Cubs fans. Who do the Cubs open with tomorrow?
I don't care. I just hope the Cardinals lose.
Where's Nick Frazier at?
Let's see.
It's
Cubs,
the Nationals.
Cubs and Nationals tomorrow.
Chalk up the W. Put up the
Yeah.
flag in advance.
The Nationals may be one of the worst teams in baseball this year.
I will just go ahead and there he is, our little Cardinal fan. Is Steele back for the Cubs and healthy, ready to roll this year?
I think so.
Because we did it last year without him, which was nice.
It is Matthew Boyd is getting the opening day start for the
Okay.
Cubs tomorrow
All right.
against Cade Cavalli for the Nationals. Opening day starter, Cade Cavalli.
I love the alliteration. I do.
Excited for baseball to start. We've got opening night tonight.
Did he play for the Italian team?
I would
World
assume
Baseball
he
Classic?
did, right? If he's an opening day starter.
His last name is Cavalli. Yeah. I'm like, he probably played for Italy. He probably hasn't spent a minute in Italy in his life, but he played for Italy.
Yeah. And speaking of Italian last names, we got Tony Vitello making his his MLB debut tonight on Netflix.
So, does your opinion before they play a game, does that go poorly?
Poorly
or well?
Poorly.
Nick Frazier says it's going to go well.
Really?
Yeah.
I've said this since it happened. His biggest advantage at Tennessee was he was a really good recruiter. Like, you're not like, I don't think he was a great.
He had a good weight coach too.
At the very least,
I'm gonna leave it there.
I don't know if he's a great in-game manager. We're gonna find out.
Well, okay. Let me throw a name out at you, Ozzie Guillen. All right, when you get these fiery managers, it usually works for a year and a half. Can he go beyond being a fiery manager? You know, Joe Torre won a ton of games just standing in the corner of the dugout, filling out the lineup card and making sure all the stars were pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Now he had the stars. And so, you look at the guys who manage in Milwaukee and the way they develop players.
Yeah.
And because that's kind of what San Francisco's got to be, right? They kind of got to be the Milwaukee.
Right. I
of
mean,
the West.
yeah, especially playing in the same division as the Dodgers
And the Padres, who are spending a ton of money. And that's my point. So you go and you get a college coach who's used to bringing in 18 and 19-year-olds and developing them. Okay. Now, the problem is they're kind of grown men by the time you get them.
Yeah.
But like we've seen with the Brewers, they've gotten young guys come through Nashville and they've blossomed in the big leagues. Can Vitello lead that in San Francisco? Because I think that's what they're looking for. Nick's giving me the nodding of the up down. And so I guess that's my point is he needs to be the developmental Tony Vitello more than he needs to be the fiery, hey, I'm going to go, punch Dave Roberts in the nose, Tony Vitello.
It could go well. I would guess right now before he has managed an MLB game, I'm going to guess it goes poorly. And I would say within 3 years, he's back coaching in college.
I'm gonna say it goes well for a year. Then there'll be a harsh turn south at some point, and I'll bet he will walk away before he is fired. That he will be dissatisfied.
Yeah, and go take a college job.
Yeah,
when
that's just a guess.
If Arkansas opens up.
I was gonna say if Dave Van Horn retires,
right,
gone.
See ya.
No.
Why?
This is my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
That it doesn't work out for him.
And he just goes to Arkansas.
He comes to Arkansas. He goes to Florida. He goes to Vandy.
Yeah. How about Tim?
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Vandy.
Perfect. I don't think that would happen, but how hilarious
that is my
would that
worst.
be?
That is my worst nightmare. I was hoping that we would never say that out loud.
Yeah. Tim Corbin retires. Welcome, Tony Vitello. That'll be fun tonight on Netflix. Baseball on Netflix to start off the 2026 season.
Yankees and
Giants. So
okay.
yeah,
Tony Vitello. Okay.
Excited for that. An opening day tomorrow again. Jeff Hem going to join us tomorrow on the show.
Is Brett Boone still managing the Yankees?
Aaron Boone.
Aaron Boone. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have not fired him yet.
Every year they talk about firing. Yeah.
Yes, they do. And also, so tomorrow, TD is not going to be with us because of opening day tomorrow.
Oh, he's at the Mets
game? He is
game?
going to be up in New York at the Mets game. So,
by the way, the Mets uniforms are the worst in baseball.
You don't like them?
No, I hate them. And I say that because TD's not here. And if he's listening, I know I'll get him riled up.
Well, TD is going to be up there in the Big Apple getting ready for opening day. So tomorrow
Wilt didn't score 100.
We are Just had to throw that in there. We are going to shift some things around. Max Hers is going to join us for the first hour tomorrow to talk Preds. We'll have Jeff Hemmen to talk some baseball. So going to be fun. Cory, always a blast having you in. We will talk next week.
It is. I made it. You know, when this show started, I didn't know I didn't know if I was going to make it to the other side. I made it. That's the big one.
I will be live tomorrow from Fort Worth, Texas, getting ready for the Women's Sweet 16. Excited.
I hope
for
it's an
that.
extended stay for you.
Yes, I'm hoping we get to stay through the weekend, and then who knows, maybe Phoenix next week. But that will do it for us. Again, back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next. Keep it right here on 102.5 The Game.